How's it going, folks? I'm JMO Rainbow, and welcome to the show. In this episode, we are faced with a challenge. Basically, this challenge, a high-volume chair that is no longer being produced with consumable feet that cannot be replaced because they are no longer being manufactured. The people are losing their minds. Discontinued inventory. You can't get replacement feet anymore. People are literally losing their minds. Luckily, who has the knowledge and the skill to take on such a task? We have the old foot. We must create a new foot using groundbreaking new exciting technology, 3D scanning, 3D modeling, and 3D printing. Can we actually come up with something kind of good? Can we make a good foot good? How do you make a good foot better? I don't know. Let's find out. All right. You know what comes first at the start of a project? We take a dip into the screwdriver cupboard. No, that's not a joke. This is literally a cupboard designated only to screwdrivers. This chair right here, called Sebastian, was designed by Niels Gammelgaard in the 80s and also produced in the 80s, largely centered around 1987. Consumers noted as early as November 2014 that these feet were no longer manufactured or stocked. Outrage began to take over the streets. An angry mob formed, and everyone grabbed the nearest shovel and the nearest pitchfork, and they headed for the big blue building. As the crowd marched to the steps, they chanted, "Are smart, give us spare part. We are smart, give us spare part." They don't care about us. All they care about is money. I like this chair. I don't want to buy a new chair. I want a new foot. Nothing could sate this mob. They were bloodthirsty. They were hungry. They needed their feet, and they had a taste for toes. Well. Luckily for them, I had been working on new feet, and there I was, ready to greet that angry mob. But first, I gotta add more stickers for the scanner to pick up the pictures. There is a little bit more difficulty and finickiness when scanning a smaller object. I've found that the best bet is when you're scanning something, you're only using it as a reference for what you are going to model. For example, it's like when you use tracing paper, you have an image beneath which you place a transparent piece of paper on top of, so you can choose which bits you leave in and which bits you leave out. It's sort of the same with this 3D scanned ghost model. The ghost is there as a reference, and it's your choice to whether or not you stick exactly to it, or if you go completely and utterly crazy. This is a time lapse of the design process in which we used Fusion 360. First one, hot off the print. Ah, did you hear that noise? Ah, that's no good. You know what that means? We're gonna have to back to the drawing board. Was it because of the tough PLA? At 10% fill? I wasn't sure. I printed 4 more in TPU. I figured that the radius of the circle that we used for the cutting tool for the internal sweep was too small. So what I did was enlarge that first off, and then I printed it again. The fit was nice and snug, but the foot still snapped under the pressure of metal to metal, the screw going into the frame. After printing TPU in 10% and 100%, I can conclusively tell you that 10% is much harder to pull off the glass print bed. When you print in 10%, the reason that it is harder to pull off the print bed is because it is 90% filled with air, which means it has 90% more room to move around opposed to 100% filled. Give 90% more flex to a 10% fill than you do to 100% fill, and ooh, surely enough, it'll come off the print bed.
Damn.
Opposed to 100% fill that has no room to move around. So when you flex 100% fill, it goes boom, it comes off. I've been 3D printing for a few years, and when I choose my infill material, I just go for what's quickest and for what I think is strong. But upon doing a little bit of research, I found a few things that I had potentially been assuming the whole time. So there are a lot of different kinds of infill materials, and basically this just means the shape of the infill on the inside of your model to give it rigidity and to give it strength. There's a few different kinds: triangle, hexagon, lightning. The list is never ending. You can print your infill at different percentage of density: 0%, 5%, 30%, 50%, all the way to 100% fill. Now, 100% fill doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be stronger than, say, 50% fill. Because what do we know about triangles? They're strong as hell. It's really not that complicated. I want triangles, and I want them at 20%. We're about to carry out a few tests. For the sake of the tests, we have 10% fill and 100% fill, triangle filled TPU. 10% fill on the density test bends almost to 90 degrees, but then returns back to its original shape. 100% fill TPU with triangle infill definitely didn't want to bend as easily as the 10% fill, that's for sure. The slide test boasted inconclusive results, with TPU being quite slippy and not grippy on this polished rock surface. Although 100% fill did make slightly more noise. Ah, now the test you've all been waiting for. Let's put these feet to the test. As expected, the 10% filled TPU crumbled when I exerted just the minimal smallest amount of force. And 100% on the other hand was strong and versatile and agile. I was able to squeeze, push and pull this thing, damn nearly drive over it with a car, and it did not break. Effectively, you can get a stronger model with the same weight amount in material depending on what infill choice you select. For example, triangles at 10% fill will be stronger than squares at 10% fill. Cool test time, baby. Old feet, seen some K's, seen better days. Time for the new ones. Ooh, sleek, black, modern design. For the moment you've all been waiting for, does it suit? His feet is swinging, he looks happy enough, tongue's wagging. I think it sits, folks. That's all from me. If you wanted to get your hands on some of these feet, the link for the STL is in the description. If you like the video, drop a thumbs up, drop a comment, make sure to subscribe. If you want to see more of our content, this is the kind of stuff we're working on, this Cadillac grill, replicating, making, bringing that thing back to life. Cheers for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next one. Rainbow out.